By the mercy of our Gurudev, may we evermore be blessed. And may the mercy of our Prabhupada reign forever on our head, as by his causeless kindness, back to Godhead we are led. For in this world, our greatest fortune is that Vaishnavas are kind, and of long forgotten truths, we Buddha Jivas they remind. From them we hear so many tattvas, and we hear of Krishna's glories, and the glories of devotion given through the teaching stories. This story found its way to us through Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, a pure disciple of his master, Srila Swami Prabhupada. He said, it comes from our Goswamis and is practically unknown. Yet through this confidential Leela, love's reality is shown. And our beloved Gurudev, he used to like to tell this story, for it illuminates the peerless mountain of Sri Radharani's glories. Thus by their mercy, it's been revealed to all the bhaktas of the West, and by their and inspired by their words, we beg of them our efforts bless. Now by mind, let's fly to Dwarka, 50 centuries ago, to the terrace outside Krishna's bedroom. Quite directly we should go, for something here is a bit amiss in his fine city by the sea. And as we settle in our seats behind the Parijata tree, we see Lord Krishna, quite unconscious, lying prostrate on the ground, with Sri Narad and Sri Uddhav looking anxiously around. They've arrived here just by providence, and on seeing his condition, could understand as Premi Bhaktas.
This is a special exhibition, a very confidential Leela.
The Lord will soon display a Leela.
The Lord will soon display a Leela, which is very confidential.
Thus our coming here today might prove much more than providential.
For no matter where his duty calls, as he protects his whole creation,
Inside from his beloved Radha burns his heart in separation.
and when those fervent feelings flare from being from his life apart,
That lovesick Lord of Dwarka swoons
from all the burning in his heart.
And so it was that on this day, while of his Radha deeply thinking, Sri Krishna's heart into Viraha started very quickly sinking. Then he entered in a mood that's known as Viraha Vidur, as the growing flames of separation from his Radha he endured. This word Vidur has so much nuance in the meaning it conveys that it takes about a dozen words to sense the heart space it portrays. For Vidur can mean bereaved, distressed, dejected, or depressed, as well as miserable, sick with love, separated, or perplexed. It can also mean alone or troubled, or like suffering from want. And by these varied flames of Vidur, Krishna's heart was always burnt. Thus in this state, Sri Dwarkadish, his mind completely reeling, simply fainted on his terrace from all the Vidur he was feeling. Then on this scene of pathos arrived that bard, most transcendental, along with Uddhav, who in Dwarka is the Lord's most confidential. And whilst they thought,
How shall we rouse him from this faint of separation?
Sri Balaram arrived there timely and assessed the situation. He concluded that if Narad were the praise of Braj to sing, then back to sense the Lord of Dwarka would his kirtan surely bring. Narad said,
Concur I do, but the fear that I maintain is his urge to run when he awakens won't be easy to constrain. As soon as Krishna comes incensed to Brajdam, he'll wish to fly. Thus his chariot should be prepared and brought here to his side.
Thus they called for his daruka and began the preparations. When Uddhav said with gravity, after deep deliberation,
This plan is good. Still, there's a detail we should think to bear in mind. The state of Raj is such that if he goes there and he finds all his loved ones simply weeping, it will cause his heart to crack. And forever he'll stay in Vrajabhumi, and we'll never get him back.
Then Narad said, Narad said, "Hey, Uddhav, maybe just now you should go."
Maybe just now you should go onto Braj and let the Brijabasis know. For Krishna, to prepare to meet with Krishna. For he's coming and he's close.
And hearing this, Sri Uddhav hung his head and was morose. He said,
I've no objection. Yes, your order's on my head. Still, there's one thing I should mention for those folks I have misled. One time, my dearest Krishna sent me to that sacred place with so many words of consolation written on my eager face. But what consolation could I give them? And my mission fully failed, for they simply cried and cried for Krishna, and my words were no avail. And I myself became confounded how to mitigate their strife. For scripture says to cry for Krishna is the aim of human life. Thus, in the end, I left there with just a promise at their feet that very soon I'd bring their Krishna back again for them to meet. But as many times as I would beg, my request would go unheard. Thus, up till now, I've not been able to deliver on my word. So if I go back to his village, after all of these months and years, the Brajabasis won't believe me. This is my darkest fear. Rather, they will scold me, call me liar, and a cheat. Thus, I suggest Sri Balaram should this vital task complete.
Then Sri Balaram, acutely feeling pain within his heart, said with sorrow,
My dear Uddhav, in an instant I'd depart. I would run there in a minute without waiting for a soul. But if Krishna's imminent arrival is our goal, but if faith in Krishna's imminent arrival is our goal, then I request you both, please consider what I say. For I too went to Brajabhumi, and I stayed there for some days. I too witnessed their condition and how their hearts were always breaking. And I did my level best to assuage their separation. I told them, please be patient. Please now don't feel so depressed. And Ma Yashoda's feet I touched and gave this solemn vow I did express. When I return to Dwarkapuri, the first thing that I will do is request my younger brother to come back and be with you. But what happened? I beseeched him, not just once, but many times. And he would tell, yes, I will go there. But he never showed the signs. In the past, my younger brother always heeded my requests. But now, my sincerest pleadings, he heartlessly neglects. He used to be so soft and sweet. I don't know how this has happened, But now his heart is made of stone, and it has become completely blackened. So, if I return to Brajabhumi with the news that all is well, they will have no faith in my words, and deceiver they will tell.
And saying such, Sri Balaram could suppress his grief no more, and shedding tears, just gazed at Krishna, lying lifeless on the floor. Then Subhadra kindly said, for she had recently appeared,
I'll take the news to Sri Vrindavan. All of you should rest your fear. First I'll go to Sri Yashoda, dry the tears from round her eyes, and I'll tell her, Krishna's just now coming. No more need to agonize. From Dwarka we all started out, all the three of us together. But on the road, the mass of people wished to serve him for his pleasure. In every town along the way, they've constructed many gates, and the kings and all their subjects are all holding arati plates. Thus their worship has been causing your dear boy a slight delay, but he'll be with you in Vrindavan without fail upon this day. I've come on ahead of it, just to bring you all the news. And in this way, with life anew, Krishna's mother all enthuse. Then I'll canvass house to house, and all the gopis I'll console, saying, men are very crooked, but we ladies on the whole are very simple-hearted, and our speech is always straight, so you can trust me when I tell you he's just a little late.
with unanimous accord, the trio willingly agreed, and the chariot of Sri Subhadra was prepared with all due speed. When Sri Balaram saw his sister's carriage had been brought, with a pang of separation, he immediately thought,
If my brother and my sister are to go to Brajadam, then certainly I must go with them. Surely what could be the harm? I too wish to see my parents and all my friends.
And thinking thusly, Sri Balaram for his chariot did send. Subhadra nodded, you go first, I'll follow right behind. And the two of them departed Dwarka, flying faster than the mind. Then Narad sang the songs of Braj, strumming on his Veena yantra. And that nectar entered Krishna's ears and behaved just like a mantra. And it brought him back to sense and stole away to Braj's mind. And rising up in threefold roop, his precious flute he went to find. But finding not his flute to place upon his reddish lips, the Lord of Gokul thought,
What gopi trickery is this? Perhaps it was Lalita, or my Radhika herself. Along with her Vishaka, she has thieved my total wealth.
and with a motivation to reclaim his bamboo prize, Sri Krishna started searching for those maids with lotus eyes. But instead appeared Sri Uddhav on the pathway of his vision, and the moods of Braj and Dwarka started heading for collision.
Hey Uddhav,
Said the Lord,
how in Braj you've come to be.
and at that moment Narad Muni also he did see.
And you as well, my dearest Nard? What's your business here in Braj? Oh Prabhu, this situation is as such. Really, we are still in Dwarka, and you've swooned in Vraja Prem.
And we knew when you were roused, you'd be too restless to remain.
Thus, your chariot is here, and your Daruka is here as well.
Elder brother and your sister have just left to spread the cheer.
Now, for the Vrajavasi's sake,
One more moment, don't delay.
And in this way, to Lord Sri Krishna, both the Premi Bhaktas prayed. Then Krishna, at the thought of meeting with his Radharani. Just like a drunkard he became, says Srila Gaur Govinda Swami. He called it Radha Rasa Madhir, or Sri Radharani's mellow, the thought of which made Krishna shake like an intoxicated fellow. He wanted to ascend the Rath, but was so mad in Radha Prem that he could barely walk and just kept stuttering her name. Thus Sri Nard and Sri Uddhav, with great help from every side, made the Lord to rise his cart and prepared for him to ride. Then swift as thought, Daruka joined the convoy to Vrindavan, elder brother, then Subhadra, with the Lord in tow behind them.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Baladev, Jai, Jai Subhadra, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Baladev, Jai, Jai Subhadra. Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavatu me. Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavatu me.
Arriving first, Sri Balaram in Vrindavan took in a scene most horrifying. No, this over here. Arriving first, Sri Balaram took in a scene most horrifying. From long-term separation, all the residents were dying.
Oh,
20
my dearest Rajavasis, how is it you survive?
Then the Lord who holds a plow deep into ecstasy did go, and a multitude of symptoms on his body did he show. His hairs began to stand, and his arms drew in his side. And he froze there like a statue as his eyes came open wide. And he stood there like a perfect person in a perfect work of art. And Subhadra's fate was much the same as she arrived there in her cart. Thus she couldn't go to Ma Yashoda, put the news within her ear, that just this minute or the next, her Kanaya would be here. It's as if these two were drowning in a sea of Brajaras, and in the oceanic sweetness of that mellow they got lost. And at this time, what is the state of Srimati Radharani? To such a stage of prem she's come that she is on the brink of dying. Her Sakis who surround her are in great anxiety, and all the residents of Braj all fear the worst calamity. She's lying in her kunja, which is known as Nidhuvan, and her head is gently resting in Lalita Devi's palms. Not knowing what to do, her Sakis simply sing his names and hold cotton to her nose to see if any breath remains. And now to her lotus feet have all the Brajabasis run. Yes, everyone from Abhimanyu to Chandravali has come. Just now coming. Yes, to her lotus feet have all the Brajabasis run. Yes, everyone from Abhimanyu to Chandravali has come. Then from a semi-conscious state and in a mood of deep distress, Sri Radha said,
My dearest Sakhis, please fulfill my last request. If fate is such that on this earth this is the last day I will be, then when I'm gone, please wrap my arms around a tamal tree, and the air within my body and of Nandagam should mix, so when Krishna takes his breath, that air will pass between his lips. The fire within my body should be mixed within the sun, whose rays will shine upon the beauty of my most beloved one. And my earth within his courtyard should be sprinkled on the ground. So as he walks, his lotus foot touch on that soil may be found.
and saying such, Vrindavan's queen, with her eyes closed, simply laid, as Abhimanyu took her foot dust and with reverence softly prayed.
O Devi, I have heard today from Yogamaya Purnamasi. An ordinary girl, you're not. Rather, you are Purna Shakti. It is only for your Leela, my wife, you seem to be. Really, Krishna is your husband, and he is eternally. By Yoga Maya's influence, I thought that you and I were married. But now I just repent the misconception that I carried. As this could be your darshan last, and I did this thing unknowing, please excuse me for my actions, as you might now soon be going.
Next, Jyotila and Kotila both approached our Devi's toes, both approached Vrindavan's queen, saying,
You're the purest woman that all time has ever seen. We used to think that of the ladies who were chaste, we were the best.
But then seeing Sri Krishna's illness put our boasting to the test.
Purnamasi said,
His fever is hot, and this world he may renounce. To cure him, we'll need water, but only an ounce. To cure him, we'll need water, but one mustn't spill an ounce. But if a girl of pure repute can bring the holiest of pots and bring it full from the Yamuna, spilling any water not, then on his heated body this water can be poured, and by this medication only your Shri Krishna can be cured.
The village promptly called for us because our fame was unsurpassed. But as the water drained,
we knew our fame was fleeing fast. Too embarrassed to remain there, we both quickly ran away.
and then Purnamasi said,
Oh, please try without delay.
At first, you didn't want to. You were hesitant and shy.
But thinking of your Sri Krishna's welfare, you assented and you tried.
Kneeling down, you dipped that riddled pot within the river.
And meditating on your motive, all that water you delivered.
And through 1,000 holes, a single droplet never came.
Held within that holy vessel by the power of your brain.
Thus, that day, we realized you're far more chaste than we.
And now, by Yogamaya's mercy, we have proper eyes to see.
Thus, to your lotus feet,
For our misconduct,
we now pray.
please forgive us.
For our folly, lest you leave us on this day.
Then Chandravali approached and touched our Devi's reddish toes and said,
By Purnamasi's grace, today this truth I also know. A mortal girl you're not. You are the Lord's Ladini Shakti. You're Sri Hari's eternal consort and embody Prema Bhakti. And we, the gopis, are expansions of your form. It is a fact. To assist you as your pure Madhurya pastimes you enact. For your Leela, Yogamaya has created all of this. And she directs our movements all for Sri Krishna's highest bliss. To serve you both and for no other purpose do we dance. And according to her wish, I was your rival in romance. But even when he came to me, his thoughts would always dwell on you. And now, O goddess, if you leave us, what will all in Vraja do? If you quit your life today, it is sure that all will die. Not even the smallest creature will be able to survive.
Then from just outside the kunja of his wrath there came the sound. And even as its wheels were slowing, Sri Hari was jumping down. Yes, leaping in a single bound, towards his Radha he then sped, calling out, "Oh, Radhe." And as he started running, and as he ran, he started melting, very deep in Radha Prem. And exactly like his brothers, Krishna's body then became. His smile widened, and his arms within his blackish form withdrew, and his eyes, transfixed on Radha, fully blossomed open too. And in this melted state he stood, for he'd become completely stunned. Thus though his Radha lay before him, to her arms he couldn't run. Now he's simply floating, like a log upon the ocean, of his love for she who is the very essence of devotion. But the breeze blew past his body, and it entered Radha's nose, and bit by bit from lifelessness, Krishna's precious wealth arose. Then Sri Lalita sweetly whispered into Radharani's ear,
Radhe, open your eyes and see your Priyatam is here.
Then in her lotus vision, just as we've described before, she beheld his melted form before her and adored him even more. And this sent Krishna soaring to a height he'd never found. And losing sense, he rolled around in Radha Prem upon the ground. Seeing her beloved roll upon the earth like this, Sri Radha spoke to Sri Vishaka in a voice imbued with bliss.
In your possession is the mantra that will cause him to revive. Please help my darling Krishna, or for long he'll not survive.
Then quickly chanting
Radhe, Radhe, Radhe.
in his ear, Vishaka's mantra caused Sri Krishna's sense to reappear. Then Sri Radha and Sri Krishna, eye to eye, directly met, and all their Vidur and Viraha in an instant did forget. Then Krishna said to Yogamaya,
Too much Godhead all can see. Now by your Shakti, set their vision to the way it used to be.
thus by her wish, then all the Brajabasis forgot their dearest Lala was the Lord, and everyone in Braj saw everything as they had seen before. And as it was the evening time, and the night would soon descend, to a sleepy Kunja's preparations did the gopis all attend. And in the early morning, by the chirping of the birds, that blessed couple's rest was most enchantingly disturbed. As they awoke, their sakis gathered round their Shringasan, singing,
Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Jugala Milan Aruti Karo Lalita Risaki Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Jugala Milan Aruti Karo Lalita Risaki.
one was playing the mridanga, and the fan one saki held, while on their throne Sri Yugal's love for each other fully swelled. And in this sweetest union, after long-term separation, Sri Krishna glanced at his beloved, feeling topmost exultation. And through her eyes, Sri Radhika drank nectar from his face. And Sri Krishna sweetly said,
Radhe, I never need this place. No, I never leave Vrindavan. Note by tattva that it's true. This viraha only increases the love I feel for you. Like a shoreless ocean is your pure and selfless love for me. And in that endless sea, I wish to float eternally. Thus, a wooden form I'll take, and by the seaside I'll preside, in Kshetra Dham, in pure viraha, fore'er I will reside.
and concluding, Krishna said,
For what in Prem they did for me, I'll take elder brother and my sister to my temple by the sea. And when I come again, with both your moods and your complexion, as Sachi's son, I'll taste again this zenith of perfection. And to the jivas of this world, who are utmost fortunate to relish this through Sankirtan, that opportunity they'll get.
Thus in Sri Dampuri, those with Vidur, they are two. One's name is Jagannath, and one is called Mahaprabhu. As Jagannath, Sri Krishna cries for Radha day and night, and as Gora cries for Krishna past the break of morning light. Yes, our greatest fortune really is that Vaishnavas are kind, and the stories that they manifest are beyond the most sublime. And maybe next time that we see those wooden carts along the road, in our heart, this inner meaning of that yatra we can hold. Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath.
Hare Krishna. You have seen this drama, Three Logs of Wood. The co-director here, Manmohan Prabhu and Raglata Didi. Although co-edited, so here Manmohan is prime because he composed everything in form of rhyme. So look how Krishna feeling pangs of Radhika. Krishna could not repay her debts. Always he indebted to Srimati Radhika. So when Sri Krishna was in Braj, then came to Mathura and Dwaraka. Krishna always telling, I'll come. Day before yesterday, watching movie of Gurudev, Gurudev told, Krishna told, Ayase iti dautakai. Krishna told through messenger, I'll come through Dut. Dut means messenger. What messenger? Eyes contact and speech. Radhika being in Braj, feeling separation. Who is feeling separation? Radhika has three manifestations. Vrishabhanu Nandini, another Kama and Bama. Kama means Sanjogini, Bama means Biyogini. Our Purvacharyas has written like Brajendanandan Samsundar, Vrindavanam Parittajya Padam Ekam Nagachati. Brajendanandan Samsundar never goes one step out of Braj. Same way, Vrishabhanu Nandini never goes one step out of Braj. Both is there in Braj. Who is feeling separation? Srila Gurudev told from Sanat Kumar Sangit and other place. Who is feeling separation? Uddhav Kyari. She is Biyogini Radha, who went to Kurukshetra under guidance of Nanda Baba. He was Sanjogini or Kama Radha. So when Srimati Radhika was in Braj, always Jotila, Kutila and others finding fault in her. So they are very worried. Radhika wants to telling to Jotila or Kutila. She is telling to Kutila, O Nanati, ja bole de nagare, rai kalankini dubeche sam kalanka sagare. When she was always finding fault, sister-in-law, Radhika became angry. Oh Kutila, you can go all the cities of Braj and tell, yes, I am Kalankini and I sing in the ocean of Sam Kalanka. Go and tell, I don't care. But whose nature is finding fault, they never stop, always finding fault. Then Jogmaya made some drama. In Krishna's pastime or Mahaprabhu's pastime or Lord Ram pastime, Jogmaya pulling the stream. Jogmaya has two forms, manifest form and unmanifest form. Manifest form means Murtarup, unmanifest form means Amurtarup. In Krishna's pastime, Jogmaya's Murtarup means this body is there, and Amurtarup is living inside Bhagavan. When Sriman Mahaprabhu after sannyas, he had desire go to Vrindavan, then thinking, oh my goodness, if I go, then influence of Brajbhumi is appeared, I am Krishna, then I could not release the mood of Radhika and could not say himself, I will not go. Then Jogmaya spoke through Mother Sachidevi's lips. My dear son, don't go Braj so far. Better you can stay in Jagannath Puri. Every year devotees will go to attend card festival. I can get your good news. Sometime you may come to take bath in the Ganges. Jogmaya speaking to the lips of Sachidevi. Other hand in Namrila, Amurta Rup of Jogmaya. Lord Ram went exile. How? Koike Devi told, your father is feeling pains due to you. What, mother? You have to go forest for 14 years only. Oh, mother, very good. Koike loves Ram so much. Ram has desired take the burden away. So here Jogamaya speaking through Kaikeyi Devi. So what Jogamaya did drama? Krishna became sick. Ayurvedic doctor came, feel the pulse, told only one remedy is there. If any chaste lady in the Braj, she has to go to Jamuna and have to make a rope of hair. Going there have to take water with 1,000 holes of a clay pot. If then can bring, I can recite some mantra and do abhishek of Krishna, then Krishna survey, otherwise no way. So what to do? Jotila, I am the crown chest. Kutila came out the crown chest. Went there, when they put the water, even coming before one step, all water gone. Keeping pot, run away. Kutila also did same thing. Then this no other way. Then only Radhika hope. Radhika took and remember Krishna. Hey Govinda Rakha Sarana. And when she remembered and took the water coming, not single drop coming down, and gave to Jogamaya, then Jogamaya did abhishek of Krishna. All done by Jogamaya. Krishna desiring and Jogamaya making this everything. So when Radhika was in like unconscious stage, sometime coming semi-conscious stage, they showed that sin. She went and bring water. That very, very marvelous character they part play. The topmost today, Srimati Radhika, then Krishna. Malini and Rasika. All did very good job. Very good drama. This is costless mercy of Gurudev. Next time if you do any drama, Jogamaya cloth will be Kosai Vastra, means saffron cloth. It's mentioned by Rupa Goswami in his Radha Krishna Ganodhyas Deepika. So in next time any drama Jogamaya, then discuss. So So I pray to Gurudev, please bestow your mercy. And I pray to Srila Gauragunda Vasaraj who told this 3 loaves of food. They should bestow upon their mercy for what oil they want to distribute in the world. They are drama player and we shall get that asset. Another thing I have to tell, the first dancer was Malati Didi from Hawaii. The 4 Braj Gopis, these are 64 arts in the world. Krishna went 64 days in the Gurukul of Sandipani Devi and learned 64 arts. For Radhika and Gopis, this is Sabhaviki, Sarasiki. They no need to go to there. So this is to attract Krishna, to achieve Krishna Prem. Nritya Geet Badda means dance, playing and singing. 3 are prominent. In of these 3, the Braj Gopis are much more superior to Krishna. Krishna Gurudev telling yesterday, Krishna going up to 5th tune, 5th rhythm, and Gopis are going 7th. Krishna sadhu could not reach there. So Gopis, this is natural for them, and Krishna being saying Bhagavan, what Siddhanta was telling, that 2 things working Krishna simultaneously. Mugdhata and Sarvagata means bewilderment and omniscient. Krishna being sang Bhagavan have to go outside to learn, but for Gopis no need. So this was a very last dance of Gita Govinda. So I pray to Srila Gurudev to bless to their mercy upon all of them and all of us. Then we can continue his legacy and get his mood. And then in one day we can serve under guidance of Gurudev or Guru Varga and the Dasar of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Singha Ras is Rasangsa Bhakti Sriyam Palladasi Bhav to divine couple. Hare Krishna. Pancha Kalpataru Bhascha Pipa Sindhu Bhaivacha.